People, we are dealing with a straight up psychopath in this series. We're dealing with the greatest evil. We're dealing with the worst type of villain that you can hope to encounter. The worst type of villain to get that type of power. That's what we're facing in Inuyashiki right now, episode 2. This episode, I needed to take a minute after watching this episode because it got to me. It really did. And I don't know, maybe it's just me. It's like a side of me. There's a vigilante within me that wants to cleanse the world of people like Shishigami. So does that make me any better than him? I think it makes me a lot better than him because this kid slaughtered an entire family just because he could. Just for shits and grins, just to feel alive. And when people like that get power, it never ends well. And I feel like this series is gonna try to redeem him. But the thing is, in my eyes, you can't redeem what he just did in this episode to slaughter a husband, a wife, a child, a daughter. I don't like the character, guys. I don't like him. I mean, I like villains. I have like a like for psycho characters. Like the Joker is one of my favorite villains. But you know why I like the Joker? Because the Joker's actually intelligent. This kid is just lashing out. And we've seen this type of things before. Like, for example, Akira, which is one of the most classic examples of someone being pushed around or someone getting power and wanting to lash out on the people that did them wrong. But this kid is just doing it because he's bored. And I don't like that. And it was just so unsettling for him to just cover his face and spin around and just say, okay, random house. I'm going to go ahead and kill this mother. I'm going to go ahead and kill this father with the child in the tub. Let the child drown after I shot his father. I'm going to torture and play with the daughter, then kill her too. It just doesn't sit well with me. It's like, and I know I'm getting personal with this video, but it's like when I see stuff like this in real life, you know, like when you see stuff like this on the news, when you see stuff on like those investigation discovery shows about people who just went on a murder spree and just killed innocent people for no reason. I want the worst for them, and I wish I could do more about it myself. And that's how this episode left me. And I think that was the intention, and I think that is gonna hit Inuyashiki the most because he tried his best to try to save, at the very least, this girl after he picked up what was going on. And it was ironic because he is an old man now, granted with his power, and part of the reason why he didn't get there in time was because his bus was in his way while he was driving, and it was to help an old lady on. So once again, there we go with the parallels of him probably gonna look at himself and say, with this body, I can do so much more than what I'm capable of as an old man. And thankfully, if it wasn't for Inuyashiki being who he was, he would have been dead too, because this little psychopath, after he walked out and he saw Ichiro, he was like, oh, so it's a grandfather here too? Is it a grandmother? Bang, let me kill them too. But thankfully, Inuyashiki, you know, he is the same type of person as Shishigami. He was able to survive the shot, and it looks like we might get a scrap next week. Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. This kid is probably pussy enough to run away. But that's just how I feel about the character overall. I mean, it was some other things in the episode too. And I know it sounds like a rant. I really did enjoy the episode. I just wanted to share with you all how upset it made me to see this character, because the thing about it is Shishigami was getting off on the fear that people had of him. And that's the type of thing that happens when you take this type of story, and with it being from the guy who created Gantz, you know it's going to get uncomfortable at some point. But it's like when people like that gets powers, you know, when people has pushed them around, they get power and they start to push around other people too, just because they see how it feels. And the psychopaths always start off with animals, don't they? They always start off with animals because, you know, they're light, they're defenseless, they can't defend themselves, they think it's okay. And then once that thrill starts to kick in, they start moving up to people. And we saw that transformation with Shishigami, as he was even talking to his friend in this episode. And he was talking about some slasher that went around and killed people. Like, who knows how long he's been killing people before this episode. It just seems like this wasn't his first rodeo of going on a psychopathic killing spree. But there were some things to laugh about. Like, for example, he's a big fan of One Piece. He's an otaku. And because of that, people are conflicted about him and love him. But I'm looking like, how can you like a character that just slaughtered the entire family? There's likable psychos, and there's people like him. But at the same time, it's that dynamic to see that him and Inuyashiki are two completely different spectrums. And when these two clash, I don't think the world is ready for it. But the point I was making is that when you give people power, they start to try to exert that power onto everybody else. And Shishigami's going down the wrong path, because usually when you get power, you start taking out the people that hurt you. Just like he offered to do for his friend. He was like, whoever's bullying you, I'll kill them, no problem. And he was dead serious about it. But he's taking out his power. The first thing he decided to do when he got this type of ability, it started to evolve and evolve and evolve from just little things like changing TV channels to this guy causing pileups on the street just because it's fun, to actually killing people because he's getting off on their fear. Like when he was with the father, and that scene was just so unsettling. He was like, this is a real gun, so you better start talking. Or when he was interrogating the girl, he was like, so what's your favorite anime, or what's your favorite manga? And he was happy that it was One Piece. He was like, oh yeah, you like One Piece? Who's your favorite character? When she said Zoro, he was like, oh shit, Zoro, yes, me too. Imagine if she would have said Luffy or Sanji or somebody else, he probably would have killed her right there. And also that the episode poked fun at Gantz. You know, he was like, you read that shit manga? That murderous manga is stupid. People bash it. People talk about it on Amazon. And just like how I said about Recreators, one thing I do like about Inuyashiki is that it's in more of a realistic setting that you and me are in right now. They're mentioning things like people thinking Gantz is shit, and, you know, Amazon and 2chan, and him actually getting the feels off a One Piece chapter and actually crying. And this is a big thing too, because we see a little bit of his past where he was saying that he cares more about anime and manga characters than he cares about people in life. If somebody that isn't his family or friends die, he doesn't give a shit. But to go to this extreme, to senselessly murder people, this kid needs to be stopped, and he needs to be stopped soon. But I just have to mention, I like the parallels, because you have Inuyashiki, this old man who is confused and scared about what's going on with him, but he recognizes that he can probably use this to do good. Now you have Shishigami, a kid who is going to take out all the hatred and dread that he has for this world and decide to attack all of his enemies. I mean, wow, the dynamic alone in this series is excellent. And again, if it was the intention to piss you off and make you hate Shishigami, they have done that successfully with this episode, because I think this character is scum. He needs to go, and I want to see it happen. I don't know, no matter how. And don't try to redeem him after this series, because I think you're going to completely ruin it if you try to redeem him, because what he just did, you can't come back from. I mean, who does that? Like, even when he took the first shot and he killed the mom, he wasn't satisfied. He looked at her body on the ground and just kept shooting her and was actually happy. Just bang, bang, bang. He's a psychopath. And this is the absolute worst evil. The fact that this series is giving us two extremes. They're giving us the absolute good and the absolute evil, and they're coming to a head. I have to admit, I enjoy it, but man, this kid Shishigami, he just set anime on fire right now. This was a masterpiece of an episode, but I just don't know how to feel. And it's also interesting, and I just have a feeling we're not going to get to it, is the role that these aliens played in giving these two individuals this power. It really was like a drive-by. Like, they hit the planet and said, oh shit, we just killed two people. Fix them up. Let's go, let's go, let's go. I really hope we do get some type of resolution for that, because I don't know. It's like, did they know who they were actually giving these powers to? Because you just gave a psychopath the ability to wreck anything in the world, and at the same time, you just gave a man who is pure of heart and wants to do something power. So maybe they just want to see these two clashing and see what happened. I mean, I would be a little bit disappointed if that was a little bit random. But overall, I mean, I just needed to really touch on Shishigami as a character, and I'm a little bit puzzled by seeing that people actually like him as a character right now. I mean, I can understand it, to each their own. Me personally, I just don't like what he's about right now. I mean, even if you gave me the most dreaded backstory of all to try to redeem this character, he's not going to be redeemed in my eyes after what he just did to this family. And this is probably just the beginning of what he's going to do if he's not stopped. But definitely let me know what you thought of this episode in the comments below. Weigh in, let me know. Do you like Shishigami? Do you feel like me? Like, again, it's just the vigilante inside me wants to take people like him out immediately. That's how I feel. That's what should happen. I don't think Inuyashiki is the man that's gonna do that, but we'll just have to see. And I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here, guys. So if you liked the video, go ahead and drop it a like. And if you want to hear more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. There's not a shortage of content for you to indulge on this channel. And as I always say, you guys be anywhere on YouTube right now, but you chose to listen to me. I really appreciate that. So thanks for stopping by. On that note, it's your boy Scott signing out. See you soon.